Dream I would like to share with you. Actually, there are a couple of dreams. Let me just share with you about this one. Uh, this dream, I believe, was the Judgment Day. And so, in the dream, everything was dark. Everything was completely dark, and there was only one light that appeared. Okay. Now, I could not see the light. I'm not sure if I couldn't see it. I didn't want to look at the light. And on my left side, there appeared to be a man. And I was looking at him. And this man was speaking to the light. He was actually speaking for me. And I believe that this being that was on my left was an angel. And the angel that was looking towards the light was Jesus Christ. And the appearance of the angel, the thing is about his face. I could only see his face, right? And this face was floating. I couldn't see the body. If I had a mask that people wear on their face, it's just only that mask that appeared, right? But except it can move its mouth, its nose, its eyes, and it was just floating, right? Now, I could see his face, but I couldn't see his body. If I could explain this better, I could only see his body with my peripheral vision. But if I looked towards the body, I couldn't see it. So if I'm looking at his face, I could tell whether he's moving his hand around and his neck, his chest, and things like that. And so the appearance of his face was was like diamond. It was diamond, very, very clear and pure diamond. And when he was looking towards the light, which was Jesus, because he is the light of the world, he the light that reflected on his face was like was sparkling, but different kinds of colors. I can't even explain to you what it was. I can't explain to you the type of colors that shone on his face. And so when he was looking towards the light, towards Jesus, and let me describe you this light. Well, first, I forgot to tell you, this light penetrated the clouds. The cloud looked really, really strong, thick clouds. And it was as if only Christ, his light, could penetrate through it. If I could explain it better, let's say there was a fog in a field, right? And if you had a fan and you turned it on, you can see the effect of the of the wind of the fan blowing through the fog. Now, take that same example from what I saw in the dream. This light, instead of instead of the wind penetrating through the fog, as I was describing to you, as I could describe to you here on earth, what I saw in the dream was this light penetrated, just like that, penetrated through the clouds. Like, I mean, it was like a sword penetrating through the clouds. Or like the example that I gave you about the wind, about the fan blowing the fogs away. You can see the effect. The same thing in the dream. Now, going back, as the angel was talking to Jesus. I don't know how long he was talking. I don't know how long he was talking to Jesus. And once he was finished talking with him, he opened this book. And this book, the cover of the book was clouds. Right? Thick clouds. And keep in mind, although that light penetrated through the clouds, it was still dark outside. And I can remember the scripture that in the book of Revelation, before the judgment, heaven and earth passed away. So I didn't see earth, and I've seen people describe what heaven was like, and I didn't see any of that. And I didn't see hell. So the only explanation that I read in the scripture was in the book of Revelation, heaven and earth passed away. And so this must be the judgment. So he opened the book, and the cover of the book was clouds. And the words were Hebrew. I can only remember seeing Aleph and Tav, but there were lots of words. Well, not lots of words actually. There were probably 7 or 8 words on each page. But the pages were invisible. You could see through the pages, and you can see the Hebrew words floating, and the Hebrew words were under the words and under the words and under the words, so they're like pages, but you couldn't see the pages because they were transparent and they were floating. So as he was reading this book, he looked at Christ, and I could remember him saying to Christ, "It's not enough. It's not enough." He said it twice to Jesus. Then he looked towards me, to me, and he said, I remember I could see his face, and with my peripheral vision, I could see his hand going like this, stretching out his right arm towards me, and he said, dead in the eye, "It's not enough. It's not enough." And I woke up.